Welcome back as we continue our coverage. The breaking news, the shooting at the Navy Yard in Washington, D.C., 12 dead, including the shooter. One suspect possibly still on the loose. Joining us now is David Katz. He's founder and CEO of Global Security Group, former senior special agent at the DEA, Firearms, Homeland security expert, and also for 4 years was a primary firearms instructor for the FBI and DEA Academy at Quantico. Hello, sir. Pleasure to have you on with us. Thank you.
You're very welcome. By the way, you left out Stan and Steve Moore's work. I'm a New York boy.
Well, thank you very much. I did not know that. I appreciate
that. You do.
I appreciate that very much. Thank you. That's very nice of you. All right. So, first of all, and I don't know, CNN just had a graphic up. I could only watch with the sound off, saying that they fingerprinted the suspect who's dead, but they haven't released his name yet. The name is all over the place, so, at least according to NBC News, who we spoke to earlier at the top. But that aside, if this is a situation where, and NBC News told us that Aaron Alexis from Texas, who is the dead shooter that they know of, if he just signed on as we were told, as a independent contractor there at the naval yard, and he used the identity of someone who just left to get on base, whether or not there's another shooter or not, let's just focus on what we do know according to NBC News. What would that tell you?
Obviously, it's clear that it's a planned effort. If there are two shooters, it's a concerted effort. And in other words, it's not a matter of a disgruntled employee having some grievance with his workplace, maybe passed over for a promotion or whatever the situation may be. This is a clear, planned, deliberate attack, and it's especially with the concerted effort, it's smacks of a terror incident.
It smacks of a terror incident.
Yes.
Okay. So if there is another shooter, first they were looking for two other suspects, one white, one black. They ruled out the white suspect. They're still looking for the black suspect that I believe they got from a video camera. Again, not sure if he was just pointing his gun into defense or, because of the situation, or whether or not he was a shooter. But if there is another one, that enhances the likelihood that it might be terror related in your view.
Yeah, I mean, it seems to me that location, and I'm a little familiar with the area, that's kind of an interesting location in that it's not one of these places where you'd say, okay, I understand. It's like the Washington Monument. It's a place that would invite terrorism. This is a very strange choice, and it also is a place that requires a little bit of intimate knowledge because it's a sprawling facility, and clearly he knew about the security, how to get in, how to beat it. So it's a little planning there. There's something. I mean, we only know very, very little as far as his background and even the details of the shooting. But there's a lot more to be uncovered, and we only just start scratching the surface.
For someone to take those kinds of weapons in, I think he had three altogether, a rifle, a pistol, maybe I forget what the third one was. Based on your expert knowledge of firing weapons and teaching the firing of weapons, would he have had to have had extensive training in that area?
Well, no, I mean, remember you're talking about close proximity to your victims, and maybe a modicum of training because look. There's a great degree of a great scale when it comes to firearms proficiency. You could just simply knowing how to load, aim, and press the trigger, and that'll make you at least able to fire the rounds. We're talking about a level of expertise that's it's kind of hard to tell, but if you just have the bare minimum, the basics, and understand sight alignment, trigger control, how to load the weapon, you're going to be able to do a lot of damage. So it's unclear whether he had any real serious training or not.
And to the security aspect of it, and someone having to be familiar because of the location, if he was in fact a relatively new independent contractor, would that indicate to you that the planning went on possibly even before, or at least the pre-training went on even before he started working there?
Yeah, it seems that. I mean, especially if it seems like he, again, total speculation.
Right.
It seems like he tried to get a position there to perpetrate the attack. I mean, this doesn't, it does call into question the level of security or level of scrutiny we're giving our contractors to. Look, the big leaker hiding in the Soviet Union now, he was an independent contractor. This guy's an independent contractor. We really need to do a little better job of checking their backgrounds and screening them because apparently it's kind of these miscreants are falling through the cracks.
We're talking to David Katz, founder and CEO of Global Security Group, former DEA and Firearms and Homeland Security expert. Let me ask you one more. The search now, as they search for this man from a video, a black suspect, after ruling out the white suspect they were searching for. I mean, this is a huge facility, and D.C., I mean, the Senate is on lockdown. Schools are still on lockdown. How long could this go on? And what you're an expert in, you've worked with the Israeli government and others, and this kind of thing is right up your alley, so to speak, professionally. So how do they conduct this search?
This is a nightmare. I mean, in DEA, we would do things. We would do a warrant on, let's say, a known drug location. We would be able to do it at a moment of our choosing. We generally had good intelligence on the subject, subjects, not always, but we're talking about, place limited in scope. This is a sprawling facility. There is, I mean, as far as square footage, number of floors, number of rooms, you've got to go room by room, floor by floor. It's a painstaking process, and the level of stress, because, obviously, you have armed individual, at least one, that you're looking for, that's already demonstrated they have no problem in shooting people. Every hallway you walk down, every door you open, every room you go into, you are expecting to get into a gunfight. The level of stress that is building on the search teams is enormous, and I really, my heart goes out to them.
Yeah, well, David, listen, thank you very, very much for sharing your expertise with us, and we'll have you back. I appreciate it, hopefully under better circumstances, and we miss you in New York.
Thanks, Steve. I appreciate it.
Take care. Thank you very much. David Katz, ladies and gentlemen, founder and CEO of Global Security Group, here on the Steve Malzberg Show. What a extensive resume he has. Okay, when we come back, the Pope made some remarks last week that raised some eyebrows. Bill Donahue, the president of the Catholic League, will be here to walk us through it. Priests might be able to marry. You don't have to believe in God to go to heaven. And what about this story now that holy water might be bad for you? That's right. That's the latest slap at Catholicism by the media. We'll talk about all of it with our friend Bill Donahue of the Catholic League when we continue. You want to weigh in, folks, 855-777-9660 here on the Steve Malzberg Show, Newsmax TV and radio.